Welcome back, fight fans! After diving deep into our Soviet breakdown series, we're switching gears to explore a whole new world of boxing mastery. This time, we're breaking down the art, history, and legacy of Cuban boxing. From its rich cultural roots to the technical brilliance that defines the Cuban style, we're uncovering what makes this nation a powerhouse in the boxing world. Let's get into it. Boxing in Cuba is far more than a sport. It is an integral part of the nation's identity, a reflection of its cultural pride, and a showcase of its collective spirit. For over a century, boxing has captivated the Cuban imagination, and the country has built a tradition of excellence that has transcended generations. This legacy, shaped by socio-political changes, revolutionary philosophies, and legendary figures, has culminated in the creation of one of the most technically advanced and elegant styles of boxing in the world, the Cuban style. The journey of boxing in Cuba began in the early 20th century when the first boxing clubs emerged and the sport slowly gained traction as a form of entertainment and competition. By the 1930s, boxing had solidified its place in Cuban society, producing stars like Kid Chocolate, who became the island's first internationally recognized boxing champion. As the sport grew in popularity, it became a source of pride, embodying the resilience and toughness of the Cuban people. However, the trajectory of Cuban boxing took a dramatic turn after the Cuban Revolution in 1959. With the rise of Fidel Castro's socialist government, professional sports were banned. This decision redirected Cuba's focus toward amateur athletics, aligning sports with the revolutionary ideals of equality, discipline, and national unity. Boxing was no exception, and it became a platform to demonstrate Cuba's strength and excellence on the global stage. The revolution ushered in a new era for Cuban sports, and no one played a greater role in shaping Cuban boxing than Alcides Sagara Caron. Known as the father of Cuban boxing, Sagara was instrumental in developing a standardized training system that emphasized technique, discipline, and scientific approaches to performance. He believed that success in boxing required more than physical power. It demanded rhythm, strategy, and an ability to outthink opponents. Sagara's methods were revolutionary. He placed great emphasis on developing a boxer's ability to move with rhythm, maintain composure under pressure, and react quickly to any situation. His demanding training regimens were designed to ensure that Cuban boxers were not just fighters, but craftsmen in the ring. Under his leadership, Cuba began producing some of the greatest amateur boxers in history, including Teofilo Stevenson, who won 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals, and Felix Savon, who achieved similar heights. Sagara's philosophy was rooted in the idea that boxing was an art as much as a science. His teachings became the foundation of the Cuban boxing style, a system that prioritizes technical finesse, strategic brilliance, and defensive mastery. The Cuban boxing style is widely regarded as one of the most effective and elegant approaches in the sport. It is built on the principle of hit and not get hit, a philosophy that prioritizes defense, calculated offense, and a profound understanding of the game. It is not a style that relies on brute force, but one that celebrates intelligence, agility, and technique. Defense is the cornerstone of the Cuban style. Cuban boxers are known for their ability to avoid punches with remarkable ease. They employ techniques like slipping, ducking, and rolling to frustrate opponents, often making them miss entirely. This defensive brilliance is not passive, it is a setup for counterattacks. By staying elusive, Cuban fighters bait their opponents into overextending, creating openings for precise counters. Imagine trying to land a punch on a shadow. This is what facing a Cuban boxer feels like. Their ability to evade attacks not only protects them, but also disrupts the rhythm of their opponents, putting them off balance and making them vulnerable. Distance management, controlling the space. Cuban boxers are masters of distance. They have an innate sense of how close they need to be to strike while staying out of their opponent's reach. This control of range is a strategic weapon that allows them to dictate the pace of the fight. By staying just out of reach, Cuban boxers force their opponents to overcommit, leaving themselves exposed to counter-punches. Distance management is like an invisible barrier, a skill that Cuban boxers hone through countless hours of practice. It allows them to control the fight's tempo and ensures they can strike with precision while avoiding unnecessary risks. Footwork, the dance of the ring. Footwork is the heart and soul of the Cuban style. Cuban boxers move with the grace of dancers, gliding across the ring with purpose and agility. Their movements are fluid and efficient, allowing them to create angles, escape danger, and position themselves for precise attacks. This intricate footwork is not just for show, it is a tactical advantage. By constantly shifting positions, Cuban boxers keep their opponents guessing, making it nearly impossible to predict their next move. It's a chess match on the canvas, where every step is a calculated move. The pouring jab, a multifunctional tool. The pouring jab is a signature weapon in the Cuban arsenal. Unlike a traditional jab, which is often used as a power punch, the pouring jab serves multiple purposes. It is used to measure distance, disrupt an opponent's rhythm, and set up more powerful strikes. It's like a probing tool that keeps opponents on edge, making them hesitant to commit to their attacks. By employing the pouring jab, Cuban boxers maintain control of the fight, keeping their opponents off balance and unable to establish a rhythm. Cuban boxing, a legacy of excellence. The principles of the Cuban boxing style, defense, distance management, footwork, and the pouring jab combine to create a seamless and effective system. This style has propelled Cuban boxers to unparalleled success in amateur boxing, with the country amassing a staggering number of Olympic gold medals and world championships. Cuban boxing is not just a sport, it is a philosophy, a way of life. It represents the resilience, ingenuity, and pride of a nation that has overcome immense challenges to establish itself as a powerhouse in the world of boxing. From the gyms of Havana to the grand stages of the Olympics, Cuban boxers continue to embody the artistry and excellence of their craft. Watching a Cuban boxer in the ring is like witnessing a symphony in motion. Every movement, every punch, and every defensive maneuver is a testament to the rich legacy of Cuban boxing. It is a style that honors the past while continuing to inspire future generations, proving that in the sweet science of boxing, intelligence and artistry reign supreme. Thanks for tuning in, fight fans. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Cuban boxing, make sure to check out our Soviet-style breakdown series if you haven't already. It's packed with insights into the revolutionary training systems and philosophies that shaped another legendary boxing tradition. Head over there after this video. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep your guard up and stay tuned for more.